Hey guys, this is Tommy with Geek Tyrant and Card Games on Computers. I'm just here with the new structure deck freezing chains from Konami for the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. Konami was kind enough to supply me with this one, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's inside. It's the old Ice Barrier strategy. Honestly, I'm not too familiar with it. I took a big hiatus. These came out when I was on my giant hiatus from Yu-Gi-Oh! So I have very little idea of what's going on with them. So in the box we get the deck, we get the playmat with the suggestions of what cards to include from other things, as well as what some strategies are. So that's pretty cool. We got Zeus on there, we got Tactical Trapper, we got Egyptian God Slime, Metal Reflect Slime, Dogmatica, the works. I will say this one, I know a lot of fans were disappointed because in the OCG, this came with Crossout Designator, which is a very good card, but we don't have it in the TCG yet, and it's not the kind of card I would expect Konami to release via a structure deck. Let's just find that tab. There we go. Open it up. Now I know that some of these Ice Barrier cards are brand new. I know some of them are old. I'm not sure which ones are which. So go ahead and roast me down in the comments below for that. But we're gonna start off Revealer of the Ice Barrier. I believe all of the hollow non-synchros are new. Maybe I'm wrong there. But this is Revealer of the Ice Barrier. She's supposed to be kind of a starter. While you control another Ice Barrier monster, your opponent cannot tribute summon. That's not too bad. It's not great by any means in this current game. You can only use each of the following effects of Revealer of the Ice Barrier once per turn. You can discard a card to special summon an Ice Barrier tuner from your deck so that you can go right into synchro plays. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. If you're playing Ice Barrier, chances are you're playing water. You're going heavy on the water, so that shouldn't be too big of a problem. If you would discard or send a card from your hand to the graveyard to activate an Ice Barrier monster's effect, you can banish a card from your graveyard instead. So, okay. Not too bad. Then we got Speaker for the Ice Barrier. Let's see. While you control another Ice Barrier monster, defense position monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle positions. Okay. You can only use each of the following effects of Speaker for the Ice Barriers once per turn. If you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's good. And if you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Ice Barrier token. That's also pretty good. Getting tokens can be very powerful in this game. So, cool. Get you a level 1 water token. Zuijin of the Ice Barrier. That just reminds me of Suichin, the piece for the Gate Guardian. You contribute this card, special summon a level 5 or higher Ice Barrier monster from your hand. That's pretty good considering, some of the Ice Barrier synchros are pretty high level. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can target a level 3 or higher water monster you control, reduce its level by exactly 2, so you get some level manipulation. And if you do, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. So that's pretty good. Wins over the Ice Barrier. Tribute any number of Ice Barrier monsters. Special summon from your deck that many level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monsters with different names from each other during your main phase. Except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your Ice Barrier monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, I mean, this will let you swap out your ice. If you've got a bunch of Ice Barriers you can't really do anything with, this will let you swap them out. This is the new boss monster, Trishula, Zero Dragon of the Ice Barrier. You need 1 tuner and 2 or more non-tuners. When it's synchro summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls. Not bad. It doesn't target, so that's good. If this synchro summon card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier from your extra deck or graveyard. Recursion, pretty good. A little limited since it has to be by your opponent's card effect. But that Trish gets its attack becomes 3,300, and then have the attack of any face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also negate their effects. That's not bad. Once again, the big problem though is the whole thing where it has to be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. That's where things get really tricky. You can only use each effect of this Trish once per turn. Okay, now we're getting into, I know these are the older ones. This is Duloran, Tiger King. I like his art. I really like the art for these ice barriers. Brionac. Not sure how you want to say that. Gungnir. And then the base form of Trish, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. I mean, pretty good card. Banish up to a card each from the opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. Not the worst. Then we get into the commons. This is where I really don't know what's new and what's old. We've got General Wayne of the Ice Barrier, Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier, Blizz, Defender of the Ice Barrier. I know this one is old, but if it's destroyed by battle, it draws a card. Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier. That's a tuner there for you. Hexa is also a tuner. Level 1 tuner, level 2 tuner. Prior of the Ice Barrier. Defender of the Ice Barrier is a level 3 tuner. Warlock of the Ice Barrier. Spellbreaker of the Ice Barrier. Strategist of the Ice Barrier. Dance Princess of the Ice Barrier. Dai Sojo of the Ice Barrier. He has some of the coolest art for the Ice Barrier cards. That pose, the lighting, it's all awesome. General Reiho of the Ice Barrier. Medium of the Ice Barrier. General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. General Runard of the Ice Barrier. Then we get into non-ice barriers. We get Gen X Controller, which seems completely random. It is a level 3 tuner at least, but it's because we have Gen X Undyne, which has you get the Gen X Controller by pitching a water monster from your deck. Yes, from your deck to the graveyard. Aqua Spirit seems like a bit of a random pick in my opinion, but it is a special summon, helps you set up synchro plays. Dupe Frog and Ronin Totem are both big question marks as to why they were included. Dupe Frog does not have a valid target in this deck because you can't add another Dupe Frog, so even if you combine 3, this does literally nothing for you since Ronin Totem is not a frog. And guess what? Ronin Totem can't be used as a synchro material. Guess what a big part of your strategy is? Synchro monsters. Really, Konami? Really? Fishborg Launcher. Moulin Glacia. Silent Angler. Pretty good there. Now we get to Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier. I think this is a new one. Maybe I'm wrong. When this card is activated, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard, special summon it while you control 3 or more Ice Barrier monsters. Ice Barrier monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. You can only activate 1 Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier per turn. Not too bad. Not great. The level limit is a bit of a bummer. And the fact that it could be better. Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. Medallion of the Ice Barrier is a Rhoda. Mirror of the Ice Barrier. Salvage because they're all water monsters. Surface because a lot of the cards are Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua. Where art thou? A Pointer of the Red Lotus. It's decent. Fiendish Chain. Not the worst. Iceborne. This is supposed to go with Speaker because this changes them to defense position if they're not water attribute. And then, of course, Speaker keeps them in defense position. Yay, synergy. Mind Drain. That could be useful, I guess. Maybe. I mean, against hand traps, sure. Heavy Storm Duster. You know, lets you destroy some cards. Crackdown is actually pretty good. Activate by targeting one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of that monster. While you control that monster, it cannot attack or activate effects. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So you can use this to use your opponent's monsters for synchro plays, or just to get them out of the way. Terror of Trishula. This is supposed to be a way to help use your Ice Barrier synchro monsters for additional advantage. Not sure how well it really works. I mean, if you have one or more Ice Barrier synchros, then you can banish a card from your opponent controls. If you have two or more, you can then banish a card from their graveyard. And if you have three or more, you can then banish a random card from their hand. It's not bad, except quite a bit of setup. A lot of resources need to go into it. So, yeah. And then we get the advertising cards. So there you go. There is Freezing Chains. A little disappointing, but what are you going to do? I believe this was made because fans in Japan in the OCG voted, I believe, for a bunch of structure decks, including Spirit Charmers, and I want to say the deck before Spirit Charmers, the not the God cards, they're the... I can't remember what they're called now. Go ahead, make fun of me in the comments below. Sacred Beasts, that's what they're called. Sacred Beasts, Charmers, Ice Barriers. I believe those were all structure decks that won popularity contests or something like that in Japan, which is why we got them. Not the worst, I just wish that they had put a little bit more effort into some of these cards. And hadn't included really dumb ones like Dupe Frog and Ronin Totem, which, I mean, they're good in frog decks, but this is not a frog deck. So, yeah. Until next time, I end my turn.